Cowboys Nation, what's going on? You already know what time it is. The Dallas Cowboys just handled business in Week 7 against the Washington Commanders, and man, the vibes on that sideline were absolutely electric. You could feel it through the screen. The confidence, the brotherhood, the energy, it was everything you want to see from America's team when they're firing on all cylinders. From the first whistle, you could tell this game was personal. These guys came in ready to make a statement. Now, let me tell you something about this team right now. They're loose, they're laughing, but they're locked in. You can see it the moment the special teamers start warming up. There's this energy around them like, we know what we're about to do. Guys like CeeDee, Dak Prescott, and Tony Pollard. These dudes were zoned in, but having fun. It's that sweet balance between business and joy, and that's when football becomes dangerous for whoever's on the other sideline. One of my favorite moments came early when everyone was just joking around, clowning on each other, keeping it light before kickoff. Somebody said one of the players looked like the Geico caveman, and everyone lost it. That's the kind of chemistry that doesn't show up in the box score, but it's what holds a team together. You can't fake that. You can't coach that. That's brotherhood. But then, when that whistle blew, the whole tone flipped. CeeDee came out like a man on a mission. You could see it in his body language. He's learned so much about how to carry himself as a star in Dallas. He's not just playing the game. He's playing the role of what it means to be a Cowboy, how to handle the spotlight, the critics, the media. And you can tell that experience changed him. He knows exactly when to talk and when to let his play do the talking. And in this one, his play was screaming. Dak Prescott was locked in too. The protection in front of him looked clean, crisp, and confident. The O-line was giving him time to scan, breathe, and pick apart that Washington defense. You could hear him mic'd up, communicating, directing traffic like a field general. When Dak's got that look in his eye, that calm command of the offense, you know the game's about to tilt in our favor. And let's talk about Jake Ferguson for a second. This dude is becoming one of the most underrated pieces of the offense. That touchdown grab in the end zone. Beautiful. Dak threaded that ball like a needle through fabric, and Ferguson made it look effortless. He's got that perfect mix of physicality and finesse, and you can tell he's developing real chemistry with Dak. The way those two read each other's movements. It's smooth, it's instinctive, it's what every quarterback dreams of with his tight end. Then you had the defense. Man, Dan Quinn's boys were eating. You could hear the trash talk echoing through the sidelines, but it wasn't just noise. These dudes back it up every single snap. From Micah Parsons bringing chaos off the edge to OSA Odigizwa collapsing pockets like it's nothing, everybody was getting theirs. And when that pick six happened, bro, the roof could have come off. The whole sideline exploded. You saw players sprinting down the field celebrating like they just hit the lottery. That's not just a defense playing for stats. That's a defense playing for pride. What I love most, though, is how these guys genuinely enjoy playing with each other. George Pickens was out there hyped up, talking about how good it feels having both CeeDee and Dak around. You can see that mutual respect. That's the kind of environment that makes players want to stay. When your stars actually love being part of the system, it becomes contagious. You don't have egos clashing, you've got brothers competing. Every now and then you catch those little sideline exchanges that tell you everything you need to know about the mindset of this team. Guys like Sam Williams and Tyler Smith joking 1 second and then locking in the next. You can tell this roster believes in each other. When GP gave that little pregame speech, it don't take nothing special to be special. Do what you always do. That hit hard. Because that's the essence of this team right now. They don't need gimmicks. They just need to be themselves, and that's enough to dominate. Even when Washington tried to fight back, Dallas never blinked. They adjusted, they communicated, and they executed. You could see it in those clutch third downs. Dak standing tall, reading the rush, stepping up, and delivering a dime downfield. CeeDee catching it in stride, getting up like, yeah, I'm that guy. That's swagger earned through preparation. And the crazy part is, you can tell they're still not satisfied. There's another gear they can hit. And listen, I don't care what anybody says, when Dak is in rhythm, this offense can hang with anybody in the league. You saw it on those deep shots, those quick outs, those designed rollouts. Every throw had purpose. Every read looked sharp. He's trusting his receivers again, and that confidence radiates through the entire huddle. Meanwhile, the defense just kept tightening the screws. Washington's offense had no rhythm, no space, no answers. Every time they tried to get something going, someone in navy and silver shut it down. Whether it was a big hit, a tackle for loss, or just suffocating coverage, the Cowboys kept the Commanders in check from start to finish. And when that pick six sealed it, game over. You could hear the roar from every corner of the stadium. That's the Cowboys we've been waiting to see. Disciplined, dangerous, and having fun. This wasn't just a win, it was a message. A message to the rest of the league that when Dallas plays their brand of football, there aren't many teams built to withstand it. The swagger is back, the chemistry is there, and the stars are shining exactly when they're supposed to. Because at the end of the day, it's not about highlight reels or viral moments. It's about unity, energy, and trust. That's what makes this team special. Every mic'd up moment, every celebration, every inside joke, it all adds up to something real. You can't fake that bond, and you can't stop it once it starts rolling. And man, if you thought the first half was wild, the second half took the energy to another level. The Cowboys came out of that locker room like a pack of wolves that smelled blood. You could sense that the Commanders didn't know what hit them. Every time Washington tried to find a rhythm, Dallas answered with something even louder, faster, and sharper. The sideline was buzzing, players shouting, coaches locked in, everyone moving like one heartbeat. It felt like a team that already knew the ending, and they were just enjoying the process of writing it. Dak came out slinging. You could see the confidence dripping off him. Every time he dropped back, he was reading the field with that calm swagger. The protection up front held strong, giving him that pocket of comfort he needs to unleash those deep throws. One moment that stood out was that beautiful strike down the left side to CeeDee. It wasn't just the throw, it was the chemistry. Dak trusted CeeDee to make that adjustment mid-route, and boom, connection. That's the type of timing that only comes when a quarterback and his receiver are fully in sync. Meanwhile, the crowd was feeding off every big play. You could hear the "Let's go Cowboys" chants echoing through the stands. And that's when you know the energy has completely shifted. This wasn't just about beating Washington. It was about reclaiming that identity, the one that says, we're still America's team, and we're not here to play nice. On the defensive side, Micah Parsons was an absolute menace. Every snap felt like he was teleporting into the backfield. Quarterbacks hate that feeling when they drop back and suddenly Mike is right there, breathing down their neck before they can even process the read. But what's crazy is that he doesn't do it alone. The entire defensive line feeds off that chaos. Osa Odigizwa, DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Williams, they all took turns bullying that offensive front. It's like a relay race of destruction, each guy taking a lap and making life miserable for the Commanders. Then came that moment. You know the one. The pick six. It felt like time froze for half a second. The quarterback tried to force it into coverage, but the ball floated just enough for the defense to pounce. Intercepted. And then, boom, house call. The sideline erupted. Helmets flying, guys sprinting down the field, the crowd roaring like thunder. You could see players laughing, hugging, screaming, pure emotion. That's the kind of play that defines a game, that turns a regular win into a statement. George Pickens was losing his mind, yelling about how unbeatable it feels when this team is firing on both sides of the ball. You could tell he loves being part of that energy, that he thrives off it. When players talk about brotherhood, this is what they mean. Everyone rooting for each other, everyone locked into the same mission. That chemistry doesn't just make the game more fun, it makes it impossible for opponents to keep up. And let's talk about the play calling for a second. Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer dialed up a near-perfect mix of balance and aggression. They weren't playing scared. They weren't protecting a lead. They were building a statement. The run game opened lanes. The short passes kept the defense guessing. And then boom, Dak went over the top again. That's what great offensive rhythm looks like. It's controlled chaos, and when it works, it's beautiful. Jake Ferguson's celebration after his touchdown had the whole sideline laughing. The man said he didn't even have enough rhythm to pull it off right. But that's what makes it great. These guys are having fun. Winning becomes contagious when the locker room feels like that. Even when the cameras cut to the bench, you saw guys smiling, sharing water bottles, joking around. That's the vibe of a team that knows they've got something special brewing. As the clock wound down, the Cowboys didn't ease up. They kept their foot on the gas. The defense kept chasing, the offense kept pressing, and the coaching staff made sure nobody got too comfortable. That's the difference between good teams and great ones. Discipline even in dominance. You could see veterans like Zach Martin and DeMarcus Lawrence pulling younger guys aside, coaching them up between plays, keeping that focus tight. That's leadership in its purest form. And even though it was clear the game was in the bag, Dak stayed locked in until the final whistle. You could see him talking to the offensive line, nodding to CeeDee, communicating every detail. That's a quarterback who's not just playing, he's leading. He's setting a tone for the next game, the next challenge. You can tell he wants this season to mean something bigger than just wins and losses. He wants to redefine what people think when they hear the name Dallas Cowboys. Then the final drive came. Washington tried to make something happen, but you could see the fear. Every dropback looked like a countdown to disaster. The pressure closed in, and before you knew it, Mariota was on the ground again, sacked by another wave of blue and silver. The defense didn't just finish strong, they finished with authority. You could see it in their faces, that mix of exhaustion and satisfaction that only comes from pure dominance. When the clock finally hit 0, the stadium felt electric. The players gathered midfield, smiling, dapping each other up, shouting, "How about them Cowboys?" The kind of win that doesn't just go in the record books. It sets the tone for the next stretch of the season. This wasn't luck. This was preparation, execution, and belief. And as they headed back toward the tunnel, you could hear the laughter, the music, the celebration. Micah hyping up the crowd, Dak grinning ear to ear, CeeDee with that quiet confidence like, "Yeah, we did exactly what we came here to do." That's the sound of a team that knows who they are. A team that's been through the noise, the criticism, the ups and downs, and still stands tall. So yeah, when you watch those sidelines and you hear those sounds, the laughter, the smack talk, the raw emotion, that's not just entertainment. That's the soul of this team. That's what it means to wear the star. And if they keep playing like this, you better believe the rest of the league is going to have a real problem on their hands. Because when the Dallas Cowboys play their game, they don't just win. They remind everyone why football is better when they're great. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. In what can only be described as one of the most shocking live moments in recent NFL history, Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer seemingly lost his composure on air, igniting a storm of speculation about a potential roster shakeup. During a televised segment that was meant to be a routine analysis of the Cowboys' offensive strategies, Schottenheimer veered wildly off script, dropping hints that have left fans and analysts alike scrambling to decode his words. Eyewitnesses report that Schottenheimer, visibly agitated and gesturing emphatically, suggested that he is tired of carrying certain players, and implied that there are members of the team whose futures in Dallas may be in serious jeopardy. While he stopped short of naming names explicitly, insiders say the comments were pointed enough to raise eyebrows across the league. Social media erupted almost immediately, with fans dissecting every syllable, looking for clues as to which Cowboys player might be on the outs. The timing of the outburst could not have been more dramatic. Coming on the heels of a string of underwhelming offensive performances, some speculate that Schottenheimer's frustration has been simmering behind the scenes for months. Sources close to the team suggest that tensions between coaching staff and certain high-profile players have been building, and this unexpected public display might be a tipping point. What makes this story even juicier is the ambiguity surrounding Schottenheimer's remarks. Was this a spur-of-the-moment rant fueled by stress, or a calculated leak designed to shake the roster and send a message? Analysts have been quick to draw parallels to past NFL coaching meltdowns, noting that such incidents often precede trades, benchings, or even locker room upheavals. As of now, the Cowboys organization has remained tight-lipped, offering only the standard team discussions are ongoing statement. However, speculation continues to swirl, with fans eagerly scanning social media and insider reports for any hint of who might be the next star to exit Jerry Jones' notoriously high-pressure environment. Whether this is a genuine indication of imminent roster changes or merely a colorful outburst from a passionate coach, one thing is certain: Dallas Cowboys fans are in for a wild ride. Stay tuned, because if Schottenheimer's rant is any indication, the Cowboys' offseason, or even the coming weeks, may be far more dramatic than anyone imagined. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.